Again, once the correct technique is okay, 2 defenders are introduced and only 1 ball is used. The practice is more realistic and game related. Players are encouraged to play the ball forward at the earliest opportunity. The 2 defenders each stay in their half, and so there is a 3v1 situation in both zones. Once again, the defenders start passively and later on are encouraged to attempt to win the ball. Players are encouraged to use any surface of their foot to play an accurate pass into the opposite zone. Dummies, disguises and quality penetrating balls will all be used by the players in possession. Dribbling and turning techniques are essential for successful attacking play. Players should master these techniques and be aware of where and when to use them. Generally, dribbling and turning should be positively encouraged in the final attacking third and discouraged in the defending third of the pitch. Players need to weigh up the risk against the reward. A good starting point to many dribbling sessions is to start with players in a small grid with 1 ball each, simply moving around whilst maintaining ball control. Players can dribble or turn away from each other. Turns can be called by the coach or even by the players themselves. Players now pair off, run towards each other and turn away. To start with, the coach can nominate a turn, but as the practice progresses, ask the players to show various turns. Encourage players to use their imagination. Players now work as a group in a small grid, turning away from the coach or each other and back into the direction from which they came. The coach can act as a passive defender. Players should make their turns sharp and crisp and should accelerate away quickly after the turn with the ball under control. At the start, players may be lethargic and come out of the turn at the same speed at which they go into the turn. This should be discouraged. The same practice, but players move off at a different angle onto the next cone. The direction can obviously be changed throughout the drill. These type of turns would be seen much more in the game situation. This is essentially the same practice. This time, encourage players to use a trick or a turn. Again, to start with, the coach can call the turn. End the session by allowing players to use their favourite turn or trick. Still using the same group and grids, but with a different starting position, players are made to receive a pass, go forward with the ball, turn away from pressure and go in the opposite direction, avoiding the oncoming player before making a pass. This practice incorporates many skills worked on in previous drills: receiving, turning, passing, body feints, all in a relatively small area. The more practice the players receive, the better their development will be. The same drill setup, but this time the ball is received from the opposite end. The players are forced to move off at an angle, receive the ball on the half turn and pass. Encourage quick movement, as if the players are being marked in a game situation. Now the player comes off a marker to receive the ball, does a trick before passing to a teammate. Players must be alert to avoid colliding with each other. To start with, various moves can be called to force the player to go in the same direction. That is, both players must move to their left, following a trick. The players have started with the right foot cut, and then a left foot step over or right foot scissor move, always moving away to their left. Various alternative turns and tricks can be used. Two teams play 2v2 in the middle, with two players at either end of the grid. Players are encouraged to turn and dribble and pass to the other end. Their partner must move to receive the setback. The practice keeps all players alive. Passing, turning, dribbling and set-up play are all encouraged in this practice. Earlier basic practices have now been developed into a more game-related drill. This is a good practice for midfield players linking up defence and attack. Maintaining possession is encouraged by the use of the end players for relieving pressure. In this next set of practices, players are encouraged to take on opponents using various tricks, feints, dummies and close ball control. Dribbling is one of the most exciting and fun skills in football, and the techniques involved should not be ignored or discouraged. As a warm-up, players dribble around a small grid with a ball each. With so many players, they are forced to look up in order to avoid colliding with each other. The practice is a good general warm-up before starting a dribbling session. Players in opposite corners receive a pass from their partner before running towards each other, doing a trick in the middle. The initial pass makes the practice more realistic and game-related. The player receives the ball, must control it into the direction he wishes to go, and then move. Younger players can start with the ball stationary at their feet